Good morning, everybody. Yeah, it's Mrs. Hawley. I'm here. I'm glad you are too. All right, what are we doing today? Well, we are going to look at culture. So, we're going to learn what the definition of culture is. We are going to describe several elements of culture, and you're going to be able to identify elements of your own culture. So, that's pretty fun. So, here's what I'd like you to do. Open up your workbook. So split your screen, pull up your workbook, and open that up to page 6. Open slide 6. And up at the top, it says, I think culture is. I think culture is. I want you to type in an answer. What do you think culture is? So go ahead and do that. You can stop the video and type your response and then just press play when you're done. All right, hopefully you typed your definition of what you think culture is. Those of you at home don't have a partner, but if the dog's around or the cat's around, you could share your answer with them. Pets are very fun to interact with. So, what is culture? Okay, culture, according to the dictionary, is all of the manifestations, so all of the ways that these particular things appear. So all the manifestations of human achievement of a particular nation, people, or social group that gets transmitted from one generation to another, or one culture to another. That's one generation. Let's fill that in. All right. Again, you can stop the video at any time to fill in your workbook. Whatever works for you, my friends. All right. Let's look at the different elements of culture and think about what they are. Okay. Geography is an element of culture. People living in different geographic areas will live differently than people in other areas, depending on their geography. So that includes physical features like mountains that can isolate people. It could mean climate. So if you live in a very cold climate, you will live differently. Your culture will develop differently than someone who lives in a warmer climate. So geography is an important element of culture. Okay, our next one, government. Groups of people, when there get to be a lot of people in one place, have to form some type of government to keep law and order and keep everything stable and protect the rights of all the people in the area. So depending on where you are, okay, you will have your own different type of government. It might be different from other cultures around you. So government can be an element of culture. Ooh, language. Obviously, language is part of your culture. Okay, I was born and raised in North America, as were both of my parents, so I speak English. My grandfather was born in Russia, so he spoke Russian. And then once he came to the United States, he learned English. So language is a part of your culture. Religion. Absolutely, religion is an element of culture. Religion is something that a particular group of people have in common. Okay? In the United States, you are free to practice whatever religion you want. So we have a blend of religions in our culture, but individually, you might have a different religion than your best friend. I'm Jewish. My husband's Catholic. So I'm not a very good Jew, but I work on it. Not really, I don't. I'm sorry. All right. Education. Education is definitely an element of culture. And depending on where you are in the world, it will depend, or even in our own country, it depends on the type of education you receive. So unfortunately, there are places in the United States where education is not the best, mostly because of lack of money and things like that. Whereas if you live here in New York, you receive quite a good education. Hopefully. You know you do. Okay. Economic systems. We're going to look at economic systems in a later video, but there are different types of economic systems. So different cultures tend to have the same economic system within their culture, which might make it different from somebody else. In the United States, we have a free market economy, which means that if I want to open my own business that sells little attachable umbrellas that you can fit onto your little kitty's head so they can go outside in the rain, I can do that. Okay. In other places like North Korea, they have a command economy. The government controls everything. There's no private ownership of business. I would not be allowed to open my own shop where I sell little umbrellas for kitty cats because the government wouldn't let me. That's very sad. Okay, another element of culture are social organizations. Different cultures will share certain social organizations. Here in the United States, we've got the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. We've got the Masons. We have all kinds of sororities, fraternities. The Elks Club, the Knights of Columbus. There are all different kinds of social organizations that you can belong to. Okay, technology. Technology is also an element of culture, and depending on where you live, it will depend on what type of technology you have. If you are in one part of the world separated from the other half of the world by a big ocean, one part might develop new technology that takes years and years and years and years to come to the other half of the world. So technology, what kind of technology you have. Arts and literature. Arts and literature covers a whole bunch of areas. So arts, you've got painting and drawing and sculpting. You've got all kinds of arts. Literature, obviously, types of readings that are available. Okay, so those are part of your culture, one of my favorite parts. And then lastly, look at that popped in from the bottom. Lastly, customs and traditions. Different cultures tend to have their own customs and traditions that make them different from other places in the world. And you can think of different customs and traditions that your family celebrates. And I can think of examples of customs and traditions that my family celebrates. Okay. Those are the elements of culture that we are going to keep an eye on for this unit and through the year. Okay. Now that you know the 10 elements of culture, you have a graffiti wall on page 7 in your workbook. Okay, you're going to create a graffiti wall filled with elements of your culture. I want you to be creative. I'll show you what I did. Here's mine. Okay, born and raised in New York. I'm Jewish. I did get my master's degree at SUNY Albany. These are people frolicking in the fountain because they do that every fountain day at the beginning of the year. Government. It is the capital. Albany is the capital of New York State. Ooh, technology. Where would I be without my MacBook? I would cry if I didn't have it. My religion, or my language, sorry. Speaking English, which sometimes I don't do well. Arts. I love drawing. I did not draw that, but I could. But I didn't. But I could. But I appreciate good artwork. Religions. Well, I put 2 down. I am Jewish. This is a custom and tradition I grew up with, Hanukkah. You know, the 7 nights, and my mom made us light the candles each night, and we got these chocolate-filled gold coins. I remember those, and we did play with the dreidel, and we did not do the jelly donut thing. That was not something that we were raised doing, but there are a lot of Jews that eat jelly donuts. It signifies something. But my husband, being Catholic, means we celebrate Christmas as well. So my kids get the best of both worlds. So they get to celebrate Hanukkah and Christmas. Yeah, they rake it in. They're spoiled. So this is my culture wall. So what I want you to do is create your own. All right? So that's technically your task for the rest of my period today. Okay? So have fun doing that. And I'll see you back here again, hopefully tomorrow. So I will talk to you soon, my friends. Bye-bye.